Hello and welcome to 11th Moon Weekly and our continuing coverage of Halloween.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
As Halloween draws closer, our movies are going to get scarier and scarier, and there are a couple movies that are at the top of my list. First of all being Nightmare Before Christmas. Honestly, this movie was pretty good. I mean, the movie itself is very well thought out, the characters are very unique, and the songs are beautiful. I mean, I really have to hand it to them. The music numbers in this movie are what make the movie. Aside from maybe 2 songs that I'm not that crazy about, every one of them is perfect, and I found myself humming them in the shower afterward. It's just a very well done movie. That being said, there are a couple things about it that bugged me looking at it now. Not necessarily fear-wise, but just bugged me about it. The first of all being that the character Jack is all over the place. His thought process doesn't really make a lot of sense. He's king of Halloween, but then he wants to suddenly be a nice guy, but then he tries to be the nice guy, creates more mass panic, so essentially he's just doing the job that he had been doing, and that somehow re-inspires him to continue doing the job that he started with. It's a movie that just went nowhere. He literally started with the same job he ended with. The only difference is that he's slightly more motivated at the end of it. Just kind of a lame turnout for the end of the movie. Another thing that really bugged me about this movie was the creepiness of the characters. I'm serious, even as an adult, looking at some of these characters is really creepy. The kid with no eyes, the monster with the snakes on his fingers, and just the mayor with his flippy face. This should not have been a children's movie. Not only that, when you really break it down, Halloween Town there, it's not about scaring people and having a good time as in what Halloween's supposed to be about. They murder people. Don't believe me? Listen to what they say in this scene.
Our first award goes to the vampire for most blood drained in a single evening.
Seriously, did you hear that? Most blood drained in a single night? You don't get blood drained from just being nice or saying trick or treat or scaring somebody. They're sucking people dry on Halloween night. That's scary. That's not right. That's not fun. That's not silly. That's literally murder. So these vampires are killing people, werewolves are out there, and they're causing people to have these nightmares. Halloween's supposed to be all fun and candy, and yes, you're supposed to be a little scared, but not to the point where you are going to literally die. One thing that really bugs me in this movie is the travel. I know it seems like I'm nitpicking, but stay with me on this. Jack Skellington walks through a forest, comes to a set of trees, and walks through the Christmas tree, and ends up in Christmas Town. I can accept that fact. But later on, Jack Skellington just appears back in Halloween Town with a car he clearly boosted, presents and ornaments, and all sorts of stuff that he stole from Christmas Town. How in the world did he drive this car from Christmas Town back to Halloween Town? Now if you're thinking, oh maybe he went through the Halloween door, no. Watch the movie again. He falls through, lands in Christmas Town. There are no trees, no magical doors to get back. Not only that, he would have to drive this vehicle so he could not go into the tree itself. Okay, what about the real world? Apparently Halloween Town can get to the real world, and apparently Christmas Town can get to the real world, but they get to them how? I get that Christmas Town can fly there, but does Halloween Town just walk to the real world? And if that's true, that means the real world and Halloween Town are on the same plane of existence, so who knows, where's Halloween Town located? Is it in Rhode Island? Do I just come out of Rhode Island and all of a sudden, boom, I'm in Halloween Town? How does this work? Travel is never explained. Oh my god, I almost forgot to tell you guys about this. There is a scene in this movie that it was just scary as a kid, and seeing it as an adult still kind of got me a little bit. There's a scene when the kids are opening their presents, and they run downstairs, the one girl has a doll, and the kid opens up the box, and it's this duck. It sounds like it's not that scary, but look at this duck. Seriously, look at this duck. Tell me that is not the creepiest damn thing you've ever seen in your life. Seriously, Just the teeth and everything about it just screams, holy crap, I just dropped the biggest load in my drawers and I gotta run away from a killer duck. I never looked at a rubber ducky the same way after this movie, people. I'm not exaggerating on this. Haunting my dreams. This right here. Just terrible. My favorite scene in this entire movie, and it always has been, is the scene where the US government is shooting at Jack Skellington. Yeah, I know, it sounds bad, but in truth, this movie freaked me out. And to see the US government stepping up and taking on this guy, oh, that was awesome. And I gotta admit, looking at it again, it still made me smile. So what can I say other than, hit it!
America, fuck yeah! Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah, America! Fuck yeah! Freedom is the only way, yeah! Terrorists, your game is through, 'cause now you have to answer to America! Fuck yeah!
USA! 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 Overall, this movie's not nearly as scary as I remember it, and thank God. I'm not saying that this is going to become a tradition like Hocus Pocus where I watch it every year, but if it's on TV, I might stop and watch it now. I can really recommend this movie to anybody who's a real fan of Tim Burton, and those musical numbers, they really are the biggest selling point to it. That being said, do not show this to young children. It freaked me out as a kid, and I guarantee you it'll still freak kids out to this day. If you want to check this movie out, it would be worth your time if you're a little bit older. I give it 3 brains out of 5.
If Brian's gonna go with fear, I'm gonna continue on that route. So I went and picked up the newest game in the Resident Evil series, Resident Evil 6.
So we're on our own.
I bought Resident Evil 6 back on launch day, but I didn't get to play it immediately, and I'm glad I didn't. I did do the prologue by myself, but after that, I picked up a co-op partner in my friend Tony. The story is told from the perspectives of Chris Redfield, a former member and founder of the BSAA, Leon S. Kennedy, a Raccoon City survivor and agent for the government, Jake Moeller, illegitimate son of Albert Wesker, an associate of Sherry Birkin, and Ada Wong. They must all confront the force behind a massive bioterrorist attack with the newly developed C-virus in cities across the world. The game is a third-person shooter. The series has definitely gone away from the third-person survival horror game that it used to be, and now it's just a third-person shooter. Truly, if they had tweaked the cover system slightly, it would have been a perfect Gears of War with a Resident Evil skin. To me, I'm not upset with that. I really would like some actual horror games to start emerging again, but I really do enjoy third-person shooters as well. Regardless, the controls worked very nice. They were very tight. There wasn't anything that was really too illogical for me. Visually, the game was great as well. There wasn't too many things that really bothered me. It looked really beautiful. Every once in a while, you'd see a texture that wasn't as high quality as what the rest of it was, and you'd really get a sense of that because the cinematic would bring up right close to it. It's kind of like when you would play on the 64, and you would see something, and you're like, yeah, that's not exactly the perfect high quality. You could see the bits here and there, but other than that, the game was extremely beautiful. The gameplay revolves around picking up guns and shooting, and I'm going to encompass all the enemies into one simple term for the ease of this review, zombies. There are many types and many names, but I'm just going to go with zombies. The game combines third-person shooting of zombies, quick-time events to stave off, kill, and escape from said zombies, and more shooting of zombies in the face. As I said about this story, there are 4 perspectives, which turns into 4 campaigns. As of now, there are only 3 available at the start, but after completing all the campaigns, Ada Wong's campaign becomes available. Each campaign has 5 chapters, and on average for a first-time playthrough, each chapter plays about an hour long. That's right, there's 15 hours worth of gameplay right off the bat. That right there is 15 hours worth of gameplay. Before you even figure out, there's another 5 hours of gameplay. And if you're anything like Tony and I, you're searching for items, you're constantly kicking boxes open for ammo, messing around and having a joyous time watching each other die and seeing the awesome death animations. And this tends to increase the time. Tony and I played and both put in 32 hours before we started replaying the campaigns on Professional. When kicking those boxes open I mentioned earlier, you can also find skill points. These skill points come from various places such as random boxes and enemies, and you can use them to buy power-ups for your character. You can up things like how fast you break out of a zombie hold, your defense, your firepower, or like Tony and I strive for, unlimited ammo! Tony and I tried to find the best places to farm skill points from the game, but the best source was the Mercenaries game type. Yep, there isn't just campaigns. You can kill as many zombies as possible in its own little game mode. You sprint around, slide into time bonuses, continually kill zombies to keep your combo up, and collect those skill points. One of the really cool features of this game is the ability to intersect campaigns. Let me preface this. The campaigns actually intersect. Being that there's 4 of them, the characters cross over into each other's campaigns and actually help fight or fight each other, kind of, many of times. And the awesome thing is, if you're going through and playing online, and there happens to be another team that's going through and about to play that exact same area, you can actually intersect during the game and play as 4 people going through on this one particular part. Now, you can't talk to each other, and there's a lot of little things that aren't fleshed out fully about it. Like, you can't choose who you play with or anything like that. But it's still a really novel feature, and it's something they can expound on later. I think this is going to be a really cool thing for people to do in the future. Maybe future games, maybe not even just future Resident Evil games. But I thought it was a really cool feature. But the coolest feature in the game, to me, is the Agent Hunt mode. You unlock this once you complete just one of the campaigns, and this allows you to take control of one of the zombies in the game and jump into someone else's campaign. That's right, you get to mess people up in their own campaign. You cannot tell me that is not awesome, and I'm going to tell you, I'm an amazing zombie dog. The music in this game is the typical horror music you'd expect, but you really don't notice it, which is a good and bad thing. It's good because you don't notice it, meaning it's not obnoxious, but it's bad because you don't notice it. It doesn't add anything to the game at all. And now my favorite part, the glitches. Actually, there really wasn't anything. The only one that was really annoying to me was the fact that one of the boss fights, the boss would basically teleport inside a wall, and I wouldn't be able to shoot him. This may have been just a connection problem because to Tony, he was still out and about doing his thing. But to me, he was gone. But, always, it's not just the glitches, it's the AI. Tony and I played through Resident Evil 5 together and decided that we would give this game a whirl, being that we enjoyed the last one so much. I did have to wait an extra day to play with him, and that turned out to be a godsend. Now, I didn't record any gameplay when I played by myself, but I can tell you with certainty that playing by yourself, prepare to do all the work. Yes, you have a partner, but they do nothing for you. The only good thing is, on the separated sections, they will accomplish their task quite quickly, but other than that, they do nothing. Overall, this game is a lot of fun, but I highly recommend you play this with a friend. The replayability is through the roof. Being that your first playthrough, you get about 30 hours out of it. If you have a friend that wants to play this game, this is a must-have. I give Resident Evil 6 a 4 out of 5.
Thank you very much for watching this episode of 11th Moon Weekly. Now, last week we asked you guys a question. We said, what movies can you not stand that everybody else seems to like? We got a lot of good responses. Emma Toons mentioned that she does not like the Saw movies, and I gotta agree with you on this one. I'm not a fan of the Saw movies either. The first one was alright because it had a decent twist at the end. The rest of them remind me of Hostel, too brutal. Now, the Dark Scythe also commented, he mentioned that he does not like anything made by James Cameron. Now, James Cameron, that's a really, really interesting pick on this one because James Cameron can make going to take your garbage out really just epic and exciting with the way he tells things. But I can kind of see where he's coming from on this one. Dysfunctional V also commented again, and he mentioned that he does not like the movie Borat. Kind of a good pick. I got a few laughs out of it about the movie, but he apparently did not like it at all, and that's a good choice too. This week's question is going to be a little bit different though, because we're going to be asking you guys about fear. Now, this week I conquered a fear of mine, a childhood fear of watching this movie. I overcame it by watching it. So what have you guys done to overcome your fears lately? So leave a comment down below with answering this question saying, what have you done lately to overcome a fear of yours? Or what fear have you conquered recently? As always, remember to subscribe, like us both here and on Facebook, and leave that comment answering our question of the week down below, and also asking us questions for our next podcast. Thanks for watching. Killer Duck.